Going on, guys? Welcome to another untimely episode of Isles Talk. My name is Paul Kreischer. I'm your host this evening. It will be this evening. I did say I was going to do a show at 7 o'clock tonight, Thursday night. However, work schedule has changed, unfortunately for the worse for me. So in keeping up with my promise, I am doing a video now. It will be uploaded probably by 7 p.m. tonight. For those of you who are interested, and for the other groups, I'll either try to share it in the other groups, or whoever the admins are, you guys can share it there as well. But I will be doing a live version on Saturday. I want to do it around 4 p.m. to cover the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. So for now, I hope you enjoy this video. We are going to be covering the college kids and the junior prospects in the Islanders organization on our way to the draft coming up. The first round is Tuesday night, and then rounds 2 through 7 will be Wednesday night. Those I will be free on, and we will be talking about that a little later on. So why cover the drafts? Well, in all honesty, when I first started blogging, I gotta say 2007, 2006, the Islanders were on the verge of going through their rebuild. So I figured, why not dip my toes into a new area of writing at the time? And it was a lot of fun covering the draft. I was young and stupid. I'm old and stupid now, but I was young and stupid trying to play armchair GM, trying to figure out who Garth was going to trade, and I did not do well. As a matter of fact, nobody did well. And that was a very humbling experience. So over the years, I have refined my system. It's not much. It's not, scout worthy. It's just doing basic research that I learned in college, and taking what I learned in college and applying it here for you guys. So what I have done over the years is that before I go into any draft, I take a look at what the Islanders have in their organization to begin with. And I always keep a prospect in my own little study here for about 5 years, pretty much because it's 2 years of juniors, and then maybe 3 years of the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, and then they come up, or it's a combination of everything. Sometimes a player is up all 5 years. Sometimes they just need a little seasoning back in juniors, and then they're in the NHL, so on and so forth. But it's usually not until that 5th year that we start to see like a breakout moment for a lot of these players. So, in those 5th years, I call them the graduates. I actually have 4 different categories now for the prospects. My first category are the prospects. These are the kids that were usually born around 1997 or 5 years after they've been drafted. So, for example, Matthew Barzal is a graduate, and it's basically the class of 2015, the draft class of 2015, and anyone who has finished their entry-level contract fairly early, like they're an overager. But we're going to get into that a little bit later on. The graduates, the professional players, those are your Bridgeport Sound Tigers, and any players playing overseas that are not here yet. Your college players, NCAA, you know who they are. And of course, you have your junior players, anyone playing in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, the Western Hockey League, all up in Canada. I do include every once in a while some of the junior players overseas if they're on with their junior teams, but I usually put them in the professional stance, in the professional category. So before I go into any kind of draft, I always take a look at the organization as a whole. And I take a look at the graduates first. It's like, what are we missing from the prospect pool? So I will go through the list of graduates right here. This is not going to be saying much. Matthew Barzal, Mitch Van Soppel, Parker Wotherspoon, and Sebastian Aho. So Barzal, you know. But the three other players, Van Soppel, Wotherspoon, or Aho, they're all defensemen. So right off the bat, with the Islanders picks in this year's draft, if I'm looking to replenish the pool, shall we say, I'm looking at a defenseman quite possibly in the first round. Not the first round, the third round. Editors note the Islanders have picks 3 through 7 as of right now, as of this recording. That may change, and I will get into further detail later on. But let's just have a safe conversation and say the Islanders will not get a second round pick, and all they have is their third round pick to start off with. So what I know of Van Soppel, Wotherspoon, and Aho is that they're all pretty good puck-moving defensemen, especially Aho and especially Van Soppel. So a defenseman in the third round, preferably a puck-moving defenseman. And I look at the other categories, my professional, my college, and my junior kids here, and I'm like, do we have any other puck-moving defensemen to, alleviate some of that pressure? And I'm not going to lie, guys, we don't. We really don't. And that's an issue. So who are we looking for? Well, we're looking for a defenseman similar to Sebastian Aho, maybe someone similar to Mitch Van Soppel. And if you're going to think of a good puck-moving defenseman on the Islanders right now, probably go with Devon Tays. Good sound overall defenseman. Still learning the ropes. He moves the puck up really quick, and he's usually a setup guy for Ryan Pulock. Tays to Pulock. You've heard that, at least in Bridgeport you have as well. So you're going to look for a defenseman probably somewhere in the third round. If I'm the Islanders, that's where I may look. What else are the Islanders missing? Well, Matthew Barzal. You're missing a centerman. Okay, if you want to throw Anthony Beauvillier in here, you could do that as well. I had Anthony Beauvillier. Yes, he was drafted in 2015, but his entry-level contract was finished last year. But again, this would have been his 5th year. And naturally, we see a breakout year for him during the Stanley Cup playoffs. So you kind of need a winger, but Anthony Beauvillier was drafted as a center. So you're looking for someone. It doesn't have to be Matt Barzal, but you're missing an elite centerman out of this prospect pool right now. You got a really good top prospect right now in Noah Dobson. You got a really good top prospect in Bellows and Wallstrom in terms of wingers. You're missing that top flight centerman. And if you guys go back to what I have been saying before, we don't know who that fourth core centerman is going to be for this franchise. You need to continue to build the core up. So if I'm the Islanders, my third round pick would probably be a puck moving defenseman for the immediate term. But since the Islanders really don't need a centerman anytime soon to fill in the shoes for Matthew Barzal or Brock Nelson, you could probably go with someone who has a little bit of a risk to him, but the rewards could be phenomenal. So you could do that in the 4th round. 5th, 6th, 7th rounds, guys, I'm not gonna lie, you can find that little diamond in the rough. It's happened before. The Islanders have done it, but right now, I think the top priorities would be defenseman and centerman with the first 2 rounds, with the first 2 picks that they have. So, in this case right now, for this show, we're going to cover the college kids and we're going to cover the junior prospects as well, because in all honesty, in terms of the age, they're all in the same category. So let's start off first with the college kids, because I don't think you guys really know what's going on in the college ranks. But to be truthful, there's not much going on in the college ranks. COVID really messed up their playoff chances, if any of them had it, but it certainly cut their season a little bit short. I am going to start first with Ben Maragiaz. He's a 2017 third-round pick, left defenseman, 21 years of age, 6'1", 185 pounds, out of the University of Providence. He's played 108 games so far since being drafted, 10 goals, 25 assists for 35 points, and he's a +3. Guys, he's a bottom six guy. Very simple, very basic. He very much reminds me of an Adam Pelech type of defenseman. There's nothing flashy about his game. There's nothing fancy about his game. Here's the thing, though. He is 21. College kids, you usually let them marinate for as long as they want, and you allow their game to grow, especially with defensemen. Third round pick in 2017. 2017 was not a very strong draft year. So, and this was also this was Garth Snow's last year, drafting. So I didn't mind the pick so much. Is he NHL bound? I don't know. Could he be Bridgeport bound? Yeah, he could be. He very well could be. I could see that happening. There's not much to tell after that. Good defenseman, very steady, reminds me of Adam Pelech. Will he make the Bridgeport club? I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe he may need a little time in the East Coast Hockey League first and then make the move up. I wouldn't worry about him coming to the Islanders just yet. Not when you have someone like Bodie Wild and Samuel Bolduc. I think they have a little more higher ceiling than Maragiaz at this point. My second pick here. Actually, I do have them ranked, so let me do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maragiaz was my number 5 pick. My fourth ranked college player in the Islanders system right now is Christian Krejcier. He's a 2018 seventh round pick, left defenseman. He's 20 years old, 6'2", 187 pounds, out of Michigan State, 68 games played, 5 assists, 5 points. One thing to remember with colleges and the players and their numbers, don't worry so much about the numbers. A friend of mine who's very much into college hockey reminded me that sometimes these kids don't get to play a lot until their junior or senior year because colleges still do seniority. So you're going to get your seniors and juniors playing first, your freshmen and sophomores playing last. These guys are now hitting 20, 21. They just turned 20 and 21, mind you. So these guys are just finishing up their sophomore years. We have to see where they're going to go. Christian Krejcier is very interesting because he's been a part of Team USA almost every year. And when it comes down to the final cuts, he's out. He's out. He's borderline close to making Team USA every year, but then he gets that cut. Christian Krejcier at this point, bottom pairing defenseman, Scott Mayfield-esque. Yeah, nothing flashy, nothing fancy about him. Steady defenseman. Is he someone you probably want at the end of the game to hold the lead with? He's that type of defenseman. He's that type of defenseman that you want. Say 2 minutes to go in the game, extra player for the opposing team. Christian Krejcier is probably that defenseman you want on the ice. So don't worry about his numbers. His defense is really good. Again, is he making the Islanders anytime soon? I don't think so. Could he make Bridgeport? Absolutely. Sure he could. Bridgeport, bottom pair. It's where he belongs. And you go from there. But again, 2018, seventh round pick. That was a Lou pick. And that was a fairly deep draft as well. So, again, taking a good chance on a player who just needs more time to develop. I would like to see him. He's 6'2", 187. They haven't done, obviously, the new measurements these days. I really would like to see him closer to 200. If he fills out, that's a big help. My number 3 ranked college player right now is Jacob Pavanka. Yes, that is Michael Pavanka's son. 2018 fourth round draft pick, center position, 20 years old, 5'11", 198 pounds, playing for the University of Notre Dame. 75 games played, 6 points, 15 assists. I'm sorry, 6 goals, 15 assists, 21 points. He's Casey Zizekas, guys. Casey Zizekas, when he first started out, he is a bottom pairing. You know what? I'm not even going to put him there. I'm actually going to put him. Oh, and I just lost his name. You guys will help me out in the comment section later on. Jeremy Colligate, thank you. Jeremy Colligate from the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. He was supposed to be the eventual replacement for Michael Pekka, but it never happened. Jeremy Colligate, Jake Pavanka, same style, penalty kill, good smarts, good hockey IQ, bottom pair, penalty kill, has got a good shot, but again, he's going to be that junior, he's going to be that senior coming in soon. Very well liked in that locker room. I would like to see him improve on his numbers just a little bit. Could I see Jake Pavanka eventually making it to Bridgeport? Absolutely. Maybe even as a third-line centerman, I could see him filling that role. And in all honesty, if his game really does fill out well, I could see Jake Pavanka eventually replacing Casey Zizekas on that fourth line. I think Jake is definitely one guy you want to take a look at over the next couple of years. My number two ranked college player this year is Colin Adams. This kid came out of nowhere. I didn't write him off, but man, was that I was awfully close, guys. I'm not even going to lie to you. Colin Adams, 2016, sixth round draft pick, left wing, 21 years of age, 5'9", 194 pounds, out of the University of North Dakota. 93 games played, 19 goals, 24 assists for 43 points, and he's a +10. All of that sounds okay until I tell you what happened to him this year. I believe it was his junior year, and again, this goes back to the seniority effect. 35 games played this year for the University of North Dakota, 12 goals, 16 assists, 28 points in 35 games. That's a huge jump. Who does he remind me of? 5'9", 194, probably Jason Blake. Not as fast, but Jason Blake on a third or fourth line. Okay, third or fourth line, Jason Blake, penalty killer. He's got a decent shot. That shot could get better, but we'll see what happens. All of these guys, as of right now, are still playing in college for now. Colin Adams, I believe, has one more year left on his contract. Could I see Bridgeport signing him? I think yeah. If he's got another good solid year, maybe even throwing him into the East Coast Hockey League for a little bit wouldn't be a bad idea. But Colin Adams just may have gotten himself a shot in Bridgeport. So the number one ranked college player is someone I've been boasting about now for quite some time. Ruslan Ishkakov out of the University of Connecticut, 2018 second round pick, center winger, 19 years of age, 5'8", 152 pounds. Cracker Barrel in the weight room, and probably a lot more. Okay. However, 64 games played for UConn, 15 goals, 27 assists, 42 points, and a +10, all in 64 games. It's pretty impressive. He is looked around by the rest of the NHL, and the Islanders have even sent him over to Finland to continue his play until college sports come back. Ruslan Ishkakov, in my honest opinion, if the development goes well, he could be that second line center that could eventually replace Brock Nelson. He could also be a winger that could replace, say, Anthony Beauvillier at some point. He's got that mix between Nelson and Beauvillier. He really does. He's got some great hands as well. I could see him doing that kind of a role. So those are all my college players right now. The one thing I don't like with the players as a whole is that none of their teams have made the playoffs, like since they've been there. No playoffs for these guys at all. I did miss one guy here, Nick Matt. I can't talk. Nick Pasterkoff, 2016 seventh round pick, 22 years of age. He's graduating this year, University of Michigan. 136 games played, 25 goals, 35 assists, 60 points. He's a plus 10, maybe East Coast Hockey League to start things off. Who knows? You know, but getting back to the rest of the teams, these teams haven't made the playoffs yet. You know, I would love to see UConn make the playoffs. I really want to see the University of North Dakota make the playoffs as well. And of course, Notre Dame. Those are the big ones I really want to see. I want to see those kids get in there, get that extra playing time and experience. So, a lot of these guys, granted, a lot of fourth rounders, a lot of seventh rounders, a couple of sixth rounders in here. Okay, so why am I bringing this up? Well, if you take a look at former prospects in college from the Islanders, you're looking at Mark Hamway, seventh rounder back in 1980. He was a right winger for Michigan State. He ended up playing on the Islanders in 86, 87. Steve Stoyanovich was a centerman for RPI. He ended up playing for the Indianapolis Checkers, and they won the Adams Cup in 82, 83. And back then, that was like the trophy to win. So the Islanders were winning both at the National Hockey League level and in the minors as well. That was Jimmy Devellano's team back in the minors. Anders Lee, Notre Dame, low round pick. I think he was fifth or sixth. Low round pick. What happened? He's an Islanders captain. Brock Nelson, first round pick out of the University of North Dakota. Go figure. Kyle Schemp, sixth round pick out of 2014, playing for Ferris State. And he ended up playing in Bridgeport for quite some time. Patrick Flatley, University of Wisconsin, first round pick, if I'm not mistaken. Isles captain. Kyle Oposo, University of Minnesota, played for the Isles. And I'm even going to throw this one in here. Brian Perez, a ninth round pick back in 2001, played for Michigan Tech. He ended up playing for the Islanders East Coast Hockey League team. So even though these kids are in the lower rounds, they're playing in college, honestly, you just don't know. Something may happen where it clicks in finally, and there you go. You're in the playoffs somewhere. So moving on to the juniors, and these are the junior kids that are in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, the Canadian Hockey League. You know, they're all here. The interesting part is they're all pretty much at that college age, because last year, Lou Lamoriello went against the grain, and this is something I was actually excited about. He drafted overagers, so that way they could come into Bridgeport sooner. And I wrote about that last year, and I was really hoping Lou was going to do something like that. And sure enough, he did. Starting things off, and I don't have these guys ranked per se because the playoffs didn't happen. So I'm going to go down the list, and I'm going to tell you who I really like. I like all of them, but there's a couple of guys in here that I think you guys are really going to love as well. Blake Jenkins, he's a fifth round pick from 2018, left wing center, age 20, 6'1", 194, good size. And what I do with the juniors, editor's note here, what I do with the juniors, I don't take their regular season because they're always practicing on something. Okay. When you're drafted, a lot of the professional teams, they'll ask the junior team, look, have him work on this, have him work on that, so that way he can come up. And they do that. So sometimes the numbers get skewed during the regular season, but come playoff time, that's where the games really have a little more meaning. So I always count the playoffs, whether it's the Ontario Hockey League playoffs and then the Memorial Cup, whatever that is. So the numbers I'm going to display to you guys here, it's all playoffs because they're a little more meaningful. So, and I've been doing that for years. So Blake Jenkins out of Saginaw, 17 games played, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points for a -3. Decent. Decent time. However, you know, again, Blade is, 2018, round 5, 20 years of age. Does he make the team? We'll find out. Making the team meaning Bridgeport. Samuel Bolduc, 2019 second rounder, left defenseman, 19 years of age, 6'4", 212 pounds. He finished up the year at Sherbrooke. He's got 25 games of playoff experience, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. An upgrade over Scott Mayfield, perhaps. He might be a better skater than Scott Mayfield. He does have a shot, and he does use his body. He really does. He uses his body very well. If I had to go back to Blake Jenkins, I would probably say he's a 5th-round version to Kiefer Bellows. You know, same mold, good scoring punch. But Blake Jenkins is like he's a 5th-round version of Kiefer Bellows. Samuel Bolduc, looking really good. I would put him right in that Scott Mayfield mold. But again, he's going to be a project. So is Scott Mayfield. Don't put any expectations on him. He's a left-handed defenseman. We're not going anywhere with left-handed defensemen. We have plenty of them. Let Sam produce. Let him grow. Let him mature. Let him fill out. You know, give him time. But for those of you in Bridgeport who go to the games very often, enjoy those times because he could be one to see and enjoy all season long. Felix Bebo, 2019 6th-round pick, centerman, age 21, 6-footer, 187. Chicotomy. Again, he was traded late in the season. They were making another run. He was out of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. 32 games played, 20 goals, 19 assists, 39 points for a +12, and he's Noah Dobson's former teammate in the Memorial Cup run a couple of years ago. So there are some Islander ties with Felix Bebo. He's another heart and soul guy. He's a Casey Zizekas. He plays the penalty killing. He's there for the big goals. What's interesting here is that Felix's age probably should have put him somewhere in the 2017 draft. So the numbers I'm reading off to you here is what he has done since his first draft year of 2017, because obviously there were no playoffs this year. But honestly, this looks like, for now, a great steal from Lou Lamoriello. I'm wondering why Felix didn't get drafted earlier. Casey Zizekas. I probably would put at some point, if Jake Pavanka were to show up, I would go Pavanka and Felix Bebo as the 3rd-line centerman. Ruslan Ishkakov would probably be my first. And honestly, do we even have a 1st-line centerman or a 2nd-line centerman in Bridgeport? You go Otto Koivula. That wouldn't be bad. That's not a bad lineup, guys. At least for Bridgeport to start things off. We'll see how long Koivula has, but that's another topic for later on. Cole Koski is another guy. Overager, 2019 right winger, 7th rounder. 21 years of age, 6-footer, 190 pounds, also out of Saginaw. So he's Blake Jenkins' teammate. 17 games played, 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. Again, he's an overager. You're looking at those numbers from when he was in the playoffs after 2017. So Felix Bebo and Cole Koski probably should have been drafted at 2017. They were passed through all these years. And these are the numbers with them since their original draft year. And I got to tell you, it's not bad. I can tell you right now, at least according to Elite Prospects, they have Felix Bebo and Cole Koski already on Bridgeport's roster next year. So I'm going to assume, hopefully pleasantly assume for now, that Bebo and Koski have in fact made the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, which is what I was hoping for. And we all know Samuel Bolduc is in fact, he's signed to an entry-level contract. Whether he plays with the Islanders next year or not, probably. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the season. But all three of them should be on Bridgeport at some point. Now, here comes your hidden gem, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Sneaky pick. Could have been a sneaky pick here from Lou. Reese Newkirk, 2019 5th-round pick, centerman, 19 years of age, 5'11", 181 pounds, out of the Portland Winterhawks of the Western Hockey League. They didn't have the playoffs this year, but I will go through his numbers real quick, and I'll tell you why. 55 games played, 29 goals, 36 assists for 65 points, and he's a plus 11, and he was named the assistant captain this year. Why are these numbers significant? Well, he had similar numbers last year, but Cole Koski basically did it in like 15 games less this year. So I was very, very impressed with what Reese was doing. I'm sure the team improved as well, but there are no playoffs for Reese Newkirk this year. Where do I put Reese in terms of other Islander players? 5'11", 181. He's kind of got like that LaFontaine size. Doesn't have the assists. He could have a style similar to Pat LaFontaine, similar to Matt Barzal, but I'm not going to put him there. Maybe a third middle six guy, middle six wing center or winger. Again, we're going to see how things go. I could definitely see all of these junior players at some point playing for Bridgeport, and I think what we're going to find is we're going to see what position they really are at in another year or two and figure out where they are. So that's it for the college and the junior guys. I'm not going to lie. I can honestly see a little more than half of the college players making it to Bridgeport. And I could honestly see all of the juniors making it to Bridgeport. And I kind of like that because the Islanders are now pretty much set in their roster, except for whatever Lou does right now. But there's no room for call-ups for these guys. First call-up as of right now, Otto Koivula, Oliver Wahlstrom, Kiefer Bellows, Jacob Skarek. That's it. So these kids, if they're all playing in Bridgeport now, they all get that brotherhood going. They all come together at some point. If not this year, I would definitely expect most of them to show up next year. So I am looking forward to seeing what Bridgeport's going to be able to do with the players. But if you've been reading into everything correctly, I think you know where I'm going with the professionals and Coach Thompson and everything else. Because you're going to see a lot of changes over the next 2 years, at least from the players, especially the college kids, because these college kids are already playing with men. So integrating the college and the juniors together with this amount, that's going to make for a really solid Bridgeport team, real solid Bridgeport team. So we'll see what happens there. So if I had to rank any of these players, I would probably go Ishkakov #1, Newkirk would be #2. I'm gonna go Cole Koski at #3, Colin Adams #4, Felix Bebo #5, and I'm gonna throw in. You know what? I may throw in Bull Duke. I think would take over #5. I'll go Bull Duke #5, Bebo #6, and I'm gonna round that out with Christian Kreisier or Jake Pavanka at #7. So there's a good list. I hope everyone enjoyed this. For those of you who are interested in the professional prospects, tune in. I will be going live on that Saturday, 4 p.m. I'll make sure we take care of that. And then on Saturday, I will probably go live covering the draft for both days. I will be off Tuesday and Wednesday. That will not be an issue. And I think on Tuesday, I will give off who I think the Islanders may pick with all they have, rounds 3 through 7. It's not so much that I want to get it right. I just want to make sure I have the right pulse. Like it's like the same theme that Lou was doing. So like last year, I was really hoping that the Islanders would draft overagers to build up Bridgeport, and they ended up doing that. So that made me feel good, because then it's like I have that pulse. So I'm kind of hoping the Islanders do the same thing this year. So we'll see what happens. So I hope you guys have a better understanding of the system so far. And I will be back live on Saturday, 4 o'clock, for the professional rankings and prospects. And I will also go over the graduates as well. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll jump right into the draft. I'll tell you who I think they're going to pick. And we have fun Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we got the free agency a few days later. So, all right, guys, take care. Let's go Islanders. And I will see you guys definitely on Saturday.